It certainly does feel like the end of times, doesn't it? With the servers going under maintenance every other day, cross-platform barely working, if working at all, ranked being absent for a few days in a row now, and bugs out the ass, one has to wonder just how long is Paladins going to last? I apologize for starting this video on a low note, but I couldn't let the opportunity slip by. It's just perfect. It fell into place with the title of the event perfectly. The End Times event pushes things forward on multiple fronts, giving us some new lore-related content, as well as a teaser of sorts for the new upcoming champion, Atlas. I won't be going over the lore, because I don't find the lore particularly interesting at the moment, but if you're into that sort of thing, there's a few YouTubers who go over it, so I guess you can just go check them out. There's a new game mode that's kind of a mix between King of the Hill and the Total Mayhem game mode found in Overwatch, which I have a few things to say about, as well as a brand new map that expands the realm into the desert. As usual, the event comes with limited time cosmetics, however, this time things are being handled very, very differently. For such a small update, there's certainly a lot to cover, so let's cut the bullshit and get started. I guess we could go over the new game mode first, which in my opinion is a fresh take on what we've been used to. The time I spent playing the event left me satisfied enough to say that I did have a good amount of fun. However, how much fun it is in general to the average player is very subjective. If you haven't had a chance to try it out yet, basically like Onslaught, the first team to hit 400 tickets win, with 5 tickets being awarded to a team for each kill, and 1 being given each second a player remains on the control point. Every minute the control point relocates to a predetermined location, however this is random, and each time this happens, buffs are given to both teams. These buffs include gravity being reduced, movement speed being buffed, as well as lowering cooldowns and increasing the ultimate charge rate. So as you probably will see in the video, things can get pretty hectic at times. The event definitely isn't for everyone though. If you aren't a fan of gameplay mechanics switching around like it's some sort of pseudo Mario Party game, this event will leave you frustrated or bored. The good thing is, for those of you who just can't stand this kind of shit, you can still complete the event quests that give the event currency in any game mode. Unless of course the quest specifically states that you play the game mode. Like I said, I myself got some enjoyment out of it, especially when cooldowns were lowered and the speed of the champions were increased, which in particular is something I wish would remain permanently. Speaking to some of my buddies that played Paladins back in the day, I'm talking like way back, they mentioned that high mobility used to be a thing, and when removed, it upset a lot of people. I can now see why. The game just flows so much better when you're able to go fast. Not only does it decrease the playtime of a match, which is good for those of us on a strict schedule or wanting to end a game with a thrower quickly, but it increases the skill ceiling as well, which is probably why Tribes, before Hi-Rez fucked everything up, didn't quite catch on with anything larger than the niche audience it was meant to attract. It sucks, but I guess slow gameplay is here to stay. I can't really say that I'm upset about it because I've been used to it, but whatever. As for the constantly moving control point, it does add some variety, and I like that it makes use of most of the map, but because the point spawns randomly, it may favor one of the teams. Something else I've encountered was being able to spawn trap my enemies. In a game mode like this, I feel that the spawn location should be moving constantly for both teams. Even though one spawn location might be a bit close to an already captured control point, it would make things more interesting. Besides, the mode is random enough as it is. Why not just take it one step further? The event ties into the latest bit of lore, and because of this, the champion roster on the select screen is very limited. Not only that, but some of the champions in this game mode just outperform others greatly when they normally would be on somewhat of a more level playing field. A perfect example of this would be my beautiful, graceful, perfect, loving, not abusive or controlling in any way, shape, or form, wife, Leon. When who I assume would be Atlas announces that the cooldown reduction effect is active, Leon can use Presence, her Q ability, immediately after hitting someone with it, if using the correct loadout. This can lead to some pretty crazy stuff. The same goes for Khan, Ceres, and Makoa. I can't speak for the other champions as I haven't played them all myself yet in this game mode, but I know for a fact that the players who happen to be chosen for the Magistrate will most likely win simply because of the champions on that team. As for the map itself, it no doubt looks good, and just like the last map released, tries to create a believable environment made with more advanced architecture, so to speak. Generally speaking, the maps we've been playing on for a while now are very flat and angular. Shattered Desert changes things up by adding things like uneven ground and unique rock formations, giving players the feeling that they're far from civilization and in somewhat of an exotic place. And I really like this. There's also the fact that it's in the middle of the desert. I mean, no one really wants to be there anyway unless they have to, so it goes without saying I don't think a lot of people are going to be here. I'm not personally a fan of the environmental damage on top of the rocks everywhere, but I guess it's there for a reason, and surprisingly this map doesn't really have too much verticality, so that's a first too. It's funny, this is one of the most flat maps they've added, while also being one of the bumpiest. Overall, I really like this map. I've always liked desert-themed maps, and I don't know, I just like the desert. And I also hope Leon doesn't find out that at one point I wanted to conquer Farah and her mother's sand dunes, if you catch my drift, if you know what I mean, if you get what I'm saying. I definitely don't have a thing for, you know, for the brownies, if you know what I mean. The event also adds limited time rewards in the form of a battle pass of sorts. Why they would put a battle pass on top of a battle pass, I'll never know. And what confuses me even more is how they even got it working with the recent shenanigans going on in the first place. Regardless, the rewards you obtain through this progression system are given to you based on how many shards you receive when completing timed quests. Purchasing one of the new skins released with the event adds 40 to your inventory instantly, unlocking a few things from the get-go. Every so often the quests are reset, so be sure to complete them all unless you want to miss out on some free shards. In total, I believe everybody can collect up to 100, so if you intend on getting everything in the event, you will have to spend money. Now, something that came off as strange in the beginning is now making a bit more sense to me after I thought about it. It seems that not all the cosmetics are available from the start of the event, which at first seems a bit weird until you realize that it was done on purpose to keep you playing longer than usual during a limited time event. Normally during these kinds of things, people will just come back and play and unlock everything they want to and then leave until another update comes out. The perfect example of this would be limited time events in Overwatch. This shit happened all the time. Teasing players with new things, but not bringing them out right away leads to consistency in playtime. It's actually a really fucking smart idea to keep player retention. I also have my doubts about the system in place though. Part of me thinks that the main reason why this was done is to allow the development team to have more time to actually finish the content. I hope that isn't the case. I'd really like for things to come out when they're actually ready, instead of pushing out half the content in one batch and then the rest in another. And speaking about pushing out unfinished content, what the fuck is up with this sky dancing emote? She looks like an old white lady trying to dance. She's supposed to be seductive, sexy, flirty, and I think her whole thing was like she gets close to her opponents by, you know, getting close to them in a way, and then she kills them. So, what the fuck? I'd expect Sky, out of all people, to really be busting a move, but this? Holy shit. Imagine if people actually had to buy this. This is considered a legendary emote? For fuck's sake, Ruckus's emote looks much better than this, and it's only a rare. Just look at how fluid this is. If I didn't know any better, I'd say that this animation in particular was one they were just holding on to in the vault, waiting for a chance to use it because, I'm gonna be honest, some of the animations coming out recently, Alpha Speeder, just scream low quality. I guess it's not all that bad though. Hi-Rez addressed that the emote will be receiving a fix 2 patches from now. I'm not even gonna fucking say anything. Looking past that fresh out of high school internship tier level animation, I'm very proud Hi-Rez has listened to what I had to say in regards to making free-to-play game events actually give free-to-play players something. With this event, the rewards aren't locked behind a paywall, at least most of them aren't, and I just can't fucking believe it. It's something that I've been asking for a very long time now, and I'm just happy for the first time. They're actually starting to show that they listen. Time after time I've said in my event review videos, give free-to-play players something to actually work for. The generosity has been getting a bit better each event, but this one does it the best in my opinion. I've never asked for everything to be free, so I don't know where people got that idea from. I swear, sometimes you guys just flat out confuse me. It's like I say one thing and a handful of you hear another. Every time I make a video about like an event or something like this and I mention the shop or the event shop, people go, "Oh, I can't believe you want everything for free." No, I don't fucking say that. I don't know why people think that. I don't fucking say that. I never said I want everything free. God, get a fucking hearing aid, please. Anyway, I feel like I say this in every update video I make about Paladins, but I really don't like going over the balance adjustments at all. But this time, I don't really have to go in depth about a lot of things because only Amani was mentioned. I already went over the 2.01 hotfix changes in my Amani video, so we don't need to go over those. But what I will say about the Syberbolt changes... I'm okay with the reduced damage, but what's the deal with the decrease in charge time? Amani already had a plethora of ways to deal damage, and now hits just as hard as Shaolin, but only faster. I don't get it. Is it because her Frostfire glide isn't the best? I don't think the lack of frequent mobility should weigh so heavy on the rest of her kit, considering she just shits out damage left and right and can freeze people. It just seems unnecessary for it to be so low. And as for the mana generation rate, I guess that's good. Now we don't have to get bursted for 2,000 damage as frequently as we used to. I haven't played Amani in this patch while writing the script because I'm gonna be honest, I'm absolutely burnt out from playing her because I went on a heavy losing streak while trying to record for the Amani Champion review. I ended up playing almost 90 matches with her alone just to make that fucking video. It's insane. In July, it's gonna be 2 years since Leon first came out, and I've only had 100 matches played with her. So what I'm trying to say is, I've played Amani a lot, and I don't want to play her for a while, so... yeah. No thanks. As thick as she is, no. No more. Not for a while. Before wrapping things up for today, I just want to go over some of the bugs I've encountered in this patch. I'm sure you guys were waiting for this. So, in the last hotfix, they fixed the issue of the Battle Pass having 0 days remaining. Now that's back. I don't know how that happened, but... Another one is, when looking at the items in the store and filtering them by a champion, the incorrect items show up for the majority of the characters. This is pretty annoying, but I must say, it's nice that they finally made a Syberbolt reference with Leon. Return to Senda! Another bug I think is a bug is Sugar Plum Willow is still in the store, and it's February. I'm not sure if this was supposed to be just a Christmas thing, but I would assume that's the case, because it kind of fit the Christmas theme. Also, for some reason, the bundle shows up in the gift menu as well, but there's this gray box and the letter K randomly placed on the button. These only show up in the bundle here. I don't know what the deal is with this. The event map still shows an error message when queuing up for it, and for some reason you can't turn the characters in the customization menu anymore. And the scroll wheel no longer works for me either. A friend of mine fixed this by changing his controller buttons from Xbox to auto in the settings menu, but this didn't fix it in my case. Of course, Khan is still bugged to shit, and the only bug I came across myself with the new event is during the increased ultimate charge buff. If the buff activates before you get to respawn, you don't receive it. And that's pretty much it. On the bright side, according to the patch notes, a fuck ton of bugs were addressed. I won't go over these, but if you're interested in looking at the list yourself, the link for the patch notes will be in the description. The last thing I'd like to mention before ending the video is the change made to the deal of the day. A lot of people were asking if this was a bug, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. When it comes to money, with Hi-Rez, it's not a bug. I'm sure everyone has realized it by now, but from now on, the deal of the day can only be purchased with money instead of using gems. This, in my opinion, is a huge fuck you to anyone who bought gems with the intention of using them for it. And before anyone decides to bring up how I've asked for directly purchasable skins in the past, hear me out. This isn't what I wanted. When I said I wanted to be able to buy skins directly with money, I meant I wanted to be able to just flat out purchase every skin instead of having to go through loot boxes. The event skins are exactly the way I wanted Hi-Rez to handle their skins, but it's also the way I want them to handle all of their skins, letting people just be able to purchase what they want when they want for a set price. The problem with this deal of the day change is now you can't buy them with gems you've collected or purchased in the past. A perfect analogy for this would be redeeming Amazon gift cards. When you get an Amazon gift card for, say, your birthday or Christmas or whatever, you redeem the code online and the value given to you is saved on your account. This stays on your account until you decide to use it for something. You could either use it right away, or you could save it for a later date when you just don't have any money. This is basically what gems are in Paladins, an account balance. Now, imagine you were using Amazon and a brand new game you've been waiting for came out and it costs $60 and you want it right away. But you don't have any money in the bank to spare. You gotta pay for rent and food, or you gotta pay for your pet goldfish's math tutoring or something like that. You don't have the money for it. And that's when you remember you do have the money for it, but it's in your Amazon account. So you hit buy and you proceed to the checkout page thinking the gift cards you saved up will just pay for it, and then that's when you realize any item on Amazon added after a certain date can no longer be purchased with gift cards. Wouldn't that be a bunch of bullshit? Because that's exactly what it feels like with this new system. This change wouldn't really affect new players, but for us with a moderate gem balance, it's a kick in the nuts. I really hate this change, and I'm very surprised more people aren't talking about this. Remember in my Realm Royale video, in fact I think like both of them, and a few others, I said that Hi-Rez changes shit without notice and takes away features or things without compensating people who spend money? This shit is basically the same thing. If I spent money on your premium currency with the intention of using it in a particular way, on a system that's been in the game for months now, I should be able to use it, and you shouldn't be able to take it away. By making this change, you've in a way decreased the value of your premium currency. The value of a crystal is not what it was prior to this change. Realistically, the price of these should be lowered to match this change, because they're no longer as useful and valuable as they were. But I know that won't happen, because it's Hi-Rez. Honestly, if I knew this change was coming, I would have bought every good deal I passed on. I saw the change on PS4, but I thought it was just a change made to accommodate the PlayStation Store, because everybody knows how PlayStation and Sony have to, like, be fucking shitbags with everything, like, not allowing cross-platform play and, you know, doing things their own way. I didn't know it would be brought over to the PC, and it's not like I could have known in advance anyway by testing it out on the PTS, because the PTS that went up over, like, a month ago or something, that went live for this patch, didn't even let me log in once. And they updated the PTS like, I think 3 times or something? Jesus Christ. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. As always, classic, say it with me, classic Hi-Rez. If you're looking for a rating out of 10 from me in this video, you aren't getting one. I came to the conclusion that I should stop rating the events with a numerical value because the ratings may be inconsistent between each update, and even though they are my own opinion and it shouldn't really matter, these updates are usually given a lower score than I'd like to hand out due to personal issues I have with some of the decisions. So, to keep things simple, I'll be scoring updates from now on this extremely complex chart that I developed with a bit of help from the guys at NASA and the CIA, of course. I mean, come on, I couldn't do this by myself. It's just out of my league. It took many months to make, but I feel that we've developed a very good rating system to help gauge whether or not an update is good or not. Maybe at some point I'll go back to the chart and add the previous updates and events I've covered, but for now we'll just place the End of Times event right here. The new map and game mode are fun in my opinion, and I'm very grateful the event gives free-to-play players more than any other event did before. If you're wondering why I didn't mention anything about the skins in this video, well, it's because I don't really like any of them outside of the Genos one, which happens to be locked inside of a loot box. I love the mecha theme, but these guys all look like Michael Bay Transformers, and I'm not a fan of that. Some of the content, again, seems to be pushed out to meet a deadline like the Sky Dance emote, and the Deal of the Day change really makes me want to take a road trip down to Hi-Rez headquarters and leave a very angry sticky note on the office door. I can't say much about the cross-platform play because I don't even know if it's working properly or if you can even turn it off yet, and during the days I was writing this, like I think I mentioned earlier in the video, Ranked was removed due to some issue and the return of it just kept on being delayed, so I mean everyone's fucking pissed about that. It'll probably be out by the time this video comes out, so it's whatever at that point. I just wish Hi-Rez would actually use the PTS to test things and, you know, adjust stuff, because it feels like they put the stuff on the PTS and immediately just start working on the next one without making sure things are going to work on the current PTS patch. Anyway, that's it for this week. How do you feel about the event? Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and I'm too lazy to do the outro for this video. You all know what to do. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, hit subscribe, and turn on the little bell icon so you don't miss another video. Twitter and Discord links are in the description, along with Syberbolt t-shirts if you want to support me and the channel. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Later.